Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Hey, this is Loral. Welcome back to another edition of Loral's Real Money Talks, where we talk about making money, keeping money, investing money, and with the team. Today, we're going to do a reverse interview. So I have Kat, who owns, and you're all going to go subscribe right now, inspiredsuccessmagazine.com. Go right now, subscribe. And a lot of you follow me. You know, I'm a huge owner and a fan of iFlip. That's how I met, is through Andy Tate. So we're super excited, but we're going to do a little reverse interview today. So Kat, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi there. I am here today with Loral Langemeier, and I'm just going to jump right in. Loral, you have had a very successful career in helping people shape their lives and financial paths. Now more than ever, why should someone learn the positive aspects of their financial debt? You know, kind of referencing the possible forecasting economic downturn in 2023.
Yep. Well, and again, just kind of a little history. I have 5 New York Times bestsellers. This one's just this year bestseller, Make Your Kids Millionaires. So in The Millionaire Maker, I mean, we're really telling the truth is how I phrase it. We're telling the truth about money it's not we're being lied to. We're just not being told how much is available in the financial world that's available to people to get wealthier. I mean, everyone thinks the path is, this is still I call it Ward and June Cleaver. I say, it's the 1960s, 70s, get a good job. If you need more money, get another job. And what we're not being taught is that being an entrepreneur is where the money is. So companies make money, individuals get all the taxation. So you get to choose your tax structure. I'm so serious, like in my book, when my son turned 18, he got LLC for his birthday. My daughter will get one for her birthday. Like, there's a way to live corporate life that it's not being taught. So I teach it vividly. And inside of that, I also teach a lot, like you said, about debt. So credit cards are extremely valuable. There was a time where it was probably not that great to have them, but because of all the technical advances, using credit cards as investment cards, points cards, building your credit, building your corporate credit is the most, I always say, it's so valuable. It's so valuable because you can build corporate credit, you can build personal credit, you can get personal funding. I mean, it's so sad about what's going on, and it's going to get worse if people don't get educated, which is what my mission is. Educate people about money. I want a conversation about money as fast as we can, because the faster they learn it, the faster they can start making changes. Like, get your credit score, and get your fundability and your debt figured out, get your credit figured out. And being debt free is not a millionaire goal. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole lie. That's a myth. Like, being debt free is not what we do. We know how to use good debt. So like, I have a lot of good debt at 2%, 3%, and I invest it at 15 and 20%. So that's how you make money. And so there's just so much I could just teach over and over. So that's why I have a huge passion for it. And what's coming in front of us, if you don't get educated, is going to be the most detrimental downfall to many people's financial lives.
Absolutely. I think that the sooner we learn this, right, the better, the more it becomes just like a life habit. Like, getting a mental and emotional head start on having a positive relationship with money is similar to being raised on a healthy diet of fruit and vegetables instead of junk food, right? You will instinctively be drawn to a healthier and more beneficial way of living. So tell us about your newest book in more detail that helps to teach kids precisely about their future wealth.
Yeah, and even though the book says, make your kids millionaires, because it's a journey of myself. So, and I also have a co-author who is a 25-year Air Force fighter pilot. And so it's what I like about the range is, I raised my kids. I have two kids. They're 16 and 23 right now. As a single mom, traveled to every continent but Antarctica, took them all over the world teaching these principles. So they lived a very different life than Kyle, who had a very, wife for 25 years and 2 kids. So how he became a millionaire and worked on his kids' financial literacy and how I did it is very different. So the book is a range. we don't care how you do it, but these are the rules. These are the 68 steps of how to do it. And we give you from 0 to 5 what absolutely needs to happen. To 0 to 5 is some of the most pivotal time for parents to get going. So even though we say it's a kid's book, it's really a parenting book. And if you're not a millionaire and you're a parent going, well, I'm not a millionaire, how do I teach my kids? Just do the journey together. Just begin together. Go back to 0 to 5. What could have, should have been done. Don't blame yourself. It's what it is. Then we have 6 to 8, 9 to 11. So those are the chapters. What to do at these ages. When do you introduce a credit card? 12, 13 years old. A debit card at 10. I mean, kids know money. They buy stuff online all the time. They're playing games. They're buying all sorts of little avatar things online. I mean, my daughter's an amazing Minecrafter. I mean, she's had a credit card and knows how to use money since she was born. I mean, like you said, I love that you framed it that way. It is a healthy lifestyle. It's a way of having a healthy lifestyle with money. Most people, because they can't figure it out, because they're trying to work the employee structure. I can't work any harder, and I got to be out of debt. I don't know who said we have to be out of debt. I mean, there are people who teach that. We don't agree with that. Millionaires aren't out of debt. We leverage good debt in a really great way. And so when you learn to do these at an early age, then like you said, it just becomes a lifestyle. So I think that this book is just perfect. Anyone who's in junior high or up can read this book. Like, they can get into it. And if you're out there and you're a kid and you just bring it to your mom and dad, get it for Christmas presents. But it's a very detailed journey of what Kyle did and what I did. We didn't do the same thing, not at all. I mean, I was a single mom. I had a private aircraft for most of my career, and we did it very differently, but we both ended with, multi-millionaire, plans. So it works. And the kids, the biggest thing, Kat, that I really want to emphasize for those that are, reading and being inspired by this is get your kids entrepreneurial. Don't be their bank as a parent. Like, I have a whole program called Don't Pay Your Kids an Allowance. An allowance is like a paycheck. So have them negotiate for tasks. And then, like my daughter, she babysits 1 kid versus 3 kids. That's a different amount of money, right? And she actually cleans their house as part of the babysitting or nannying job, then she gets more money. And that's different than tutoring. She gets a different kind of money. I mean, so there's a whole way of teaching them to start thinking entrepreneurially, and they can go make their own money. My kids started making their own money at 4 years old. Both of them.
What was their first jobs?
Their first little businesses, because I taught a class for over 10 years around the world called 3 Days to Cash, where in 3 days, I guaranteed everybody in the room would make money, and they did. And so I just had this rhythm of just, and we would do it every month around the world. It was so much fun. So my kids would just come along. And so they knew not to come to mom if they wanted to go to the little, shop and get some candy or something. They would get out and hustle. So they would go find someone. So my daughter used to sell this tooth whitening toothpaste. And this one woman that used to work for me was like a lead. It was a direct sales company. And she's like, here's the deal. It's going to be 50-50. I'll go out and sell tons of toothpaste, and then you give me 50% of the money. And so she was a little toothpaste saleswoman. And then she made little paper wallets because she's a great little artist. So she made these cool paper wallets. My son did a smoothie business. So he would go to the store and he learned to make smoothies. And I had a huge conference center. So he would, he had the convenience of that. But they've done a lot. And
but they learned interaction early, right? Because that's the biggest thing, is the interaction, which, now that the world is mostly online, breaking down that barrier of that it's still interaction. Like they need to
they got to get off of this. They text more than they talk.
Yes.
They don't know how to talk.
Right. So applying skills to making sure that they can get out in front of people would definitely help enhance this.
Yes. And like the most illegal words and I say those really strongly, that are the most harmful psychologically to your children, is to say, we can't afford it, because you can afford anything you want. You just have to learn to make some money. And I do a workshop. I'm going to give everybody here a free ticket to our workshop where I teach them to make money. Now, it's different online because I'm not in a room and monitoring that everyone's making money, because people click off a Zoom. But we still have about at least 50% of the room in 1 or 2 days can make anywhere between $200 to $3,000. So it works. I know how to teach people how to make money. So when you tell a child, we can't afford it, they internalize that as they don't deserve it. And then when you say, don't ask for anything when you go in a store, they're not worth it. Like 0 to 8 is the biggest brain development. I mean, Bob Proctor and I we weren't just dear friends and mentors. We were business partners for 6 years. And that brain development period, and what you say to a child, it's defining to them. So it's
Well,
really
that type of language is like, it's putting a guilt and a shame to want things.
Yes. And it's bad to ask, and it's bad to have it. And, and so instead say, so how could we make the money? So if you want the new, whatever they want, right? Whatever technology is probably what they want. How can we make the money together? What ideas do you have? And go online, come up with 10 ideas of how you want to make some money. Like my daughter, Nanny, we have neighbors that have chickens. She helps with the chickens. She's a tutor now. She's actually formally tutoring. My son is a very high level genius tutor. I mean, he's $750 to $1,500 to get him. So, I mean, just lots of little extra jobs. She's a personal shopper for me. I hate shopping, so she can do all of that. So I let her do that. I got to hire somebody to do it, so I'd rather hire my daughter. So just get creative. And the other thing too, which is a really easy one for anyone, is just, go through your house and eBay it, Facebook Marketplace it, just sell stuff. I mean, you have old clothes that you don't want anymore, Poshmark them. I mean, there's so many ways you can do it. I have a lot of teenage kids doing Etsy right now, doing fun little, like these creative little, my son plays for the Georgia Southern Eagles. So I got these on Etsy. They're cute little eagles that, some little girl made, and I wanted to buy them because I thought they were super cute. Right. So there's all sorts of just fun things that you can do. What's your kid good at? What do they like to do? What do they want to do? And work on it together. Yes, it's going to take more time, and it's worth it. It's the best work as a parent you'll ever do.
You're inspiring. It's creating that inspiration, right? The inspired to success, not to plug the magazine, but that is where those little seeds start from, right? And now they're taught how to. Now you don't have to have the conversation anymore. It's now ingrained, like those fruits and vegetables, if you will, that good nutrition. Now it's, I want something. How do I create the possibility to make that happen?
In that whole frame of their life, it's instilled in their values, their character, their conversation. And the other thing I would say to a lot of parents, and we talk a lot about in the book, is don't answer for them. Like a lot of times you tell your kids to be quiet. I ask my kids questions more than I tell them what to do. Well, what should we do? Well, how would you do that? Because they need to come up with the creativity. They need to trust their intuition and their knowledge. And if it's not right, then we can educate and correct it. But just to have them be quiet all the time, it's just, there's a lot of parenting in this book about the conversation. And we do a call. I do a call every 2 weeks now, teaching how to be in a conversation about money. I have a huge YouTube channel where I talk about, for 10 to 15 minutes a day, your whole family could watch it. And then instead of say, well, Loral talked about this today, say, what did you learn from Loral today? Right? What did you learn? What's the one lesson you learned from the YouTube video? And just start the conversation slowly and get going. But the earlier, the better. And then if you're really serious and you have companies and you have, children, they're huge tax deductions because you should employ them. You should employ them and get them a Roth IRA. So there's just a lot of strategies in the book that are completely open to the world to have, and no one talks about them, and they don't market about them. They don't have, there's not ads about how to do any of this. So it's very counter to what we've been taught.
And this book is available also in audio, yes?
Audio and ebook. So it's on Kindle, it's on Audible, it's on Amazon, it's on our store, makeyourkidsmillionaires.com. It's everywhere.
So very easy to download it onto the technology that they are glued to, and they can be listening to it while they're doing something else. So it's very easy. It's not like they need to carve out a set time to be sitting to read too.
Correct. Absolutely. And it's just as a parent, I always say it's the most important work. Why? Because you're teaching them, work character, work ethic, how to interact with adults. I've been, acknowledged for that most of my kids' life, because they learned adult conversations at a very young age, and how to interact with adults and how to ask and how to, be courteous. Just all of the kind of, I'm going to say etiquette, right? And then they learn to be creative. Like, I'm not their bank. They know how to make money. So if you want something, go make it. And if you need help, I'm right here. Let's go. Now, I'm a little more advanced because I've lived it this much and I create the work of it. But any parent can do this. It takes time. It takes some time. So, the best place to start is the dinner table. If you don't have a dinner table, begin a dinner table. Old school, you got to talk, and not, everybody just go to their room, or everybody just sit by the TV. Like, got to shut all that down and talk about it. because it's got to start coming out of their mouth. What I find, a lot of parents make the mistake too, Kat, that they'll just be telling the kids what to do. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do that. It's not going to be, that's not how kids, that's not a learning behavior that works for most children. They need to be asked what to do. What do you think we should do? How could we do that better? How could we do that differently? Engage them to start talking.
So that they can start to fire that process of critical thinking.
Absolutely. And decision-making, problem solving. Absolutely. There's such life skills in the way that I teach money. It's critical. It's just, you can tell I'm passionate about it. I've done for now almost 25 years of my life. I've committed to teaching people money conversations.
So how is this guidance that you have for your children, how is it similar and how is it different than how when you were a child?
Oh, very different. I grew up on a farm in Nebraska, 5 brothers and sisters. Even though like now looking back, or I mean, even at 17, 18, looking back when I really started my journey of learning money, at 17 years old, I was given the book Think and Grow Rich, which was my inspiration. And I remember reading that as a farm girl from Nebraska going, people think like this, they write like this, like there's this possibility out there. So I just started this journey of why is it so few people become millionaires? It cannot be that hard. Like there's been millionaires for decades and centuries. Why is it so difficult for people to hit it? And it's because we're not taught to live corporate life. We're taught to have an employee life. And I'm not saying go quit your job. You have to have both. You have to have both in your life to do the whole structure properly. So it's just a strategy. And I've kind of glued it together. There's 4 big components of becoming a millionaire. You got to make money and you got to creatively make it on your own as an entrepreneur. And you can partner with other people. I mean, direct sales companies is a great way to start. When I had my biggest entrepreneurial run, I was the master distributor of the Rich Dad Poor Dad game called Cash Flow. So I had 5 years working under the mentorship of Sharon Lechter mostly and Robert Kiyosaki and that whole group. So I learned how to make money. I learned how to sell that game. I learned a lot from them. And then in 2000, went out on my own and started, what I have now is Integrated Wealth Systems today. So 22 years later, but I was really under someone else's umbrella, but not as an employee. My company worked for their company. And anyone can do that. I mean, direct sales companies are great. I love direct sales companies. I'm in a ton of them. I'm in Send Out Cards. I'm in New Skin. I'm in tons of them because I like their products and I like being paid back for the things I buy. So I'm not saying you have to do a sophisticated business, but having an employee and a corporate life is where you activate the tax and the financial systems to support you financially. And then you get to keep more of your money, which means you get to invest more of your money. So the components are make it, keep it, invest it, and use a team. And I mean, I really think that because I've done it for so long and I've done it with such huge age ranges and populations and cultures. I mean, I've taught in South Africa, I've taught in Dubai, I've taught around the world. I feel like what I've done different is I have just a common sense conversation. I don't use all the big financial theory terms that I learned in finance school. Like I don't use all those to teach people. I just say it's common sense. How do you want to make some cash? Like, let's make some money. I don't use, we need to have revenue and profit. As you get more sophisticated, I do, but I start at a really basic level. I also start at a multimillionaire level because you say, why would multimillionaires come to you? They're overtaxed. They don't know the strategy is big enough. So I have all those strategies. So I have a range, but I love it. I mean, I get up every day and love teaching.
So when, just as a quick thing here, if that's where you were at in Nebraska, like, did you have these conversations with your family or were you just kind of in your own bubble about this and absorbing it and just observing your own little first mini society, which is our household, and kind of see where the hits and misses were?
Well, what was interesting is we never talked about money. Most families never talk about money, right? And we're in a farm family. So that means you go out and work hard, and the harder you work, the more money you'll make. And so that was my whole, which is probably where I got my work ethic. I don't think so. I mean, I don't say probably, that is where I got my work ethic is growing up there. So it wasn't negative, but it was never like, it wasn't a wealthy environment. Now, looking back, it is. I mean, my mom and dad were great entrepreneurs. I mean, farmers are we're what, 6th generation farm by now. I mean, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 maybe generations. I don't remember exactly, but a long time. And my mom was a caterer, made a ton of money catering in the local, farm community. But they didn't even see themselves, or even now today, it took a long time for my mom. I said, Mom, like you're an entrepreneur. She said, no, I just have a catering company. I said, no, you actually, it's such a different psychology for people who do things like call it catering. And she was very successful at it. She's amazing at it. But it was interesting. Like they don't see themselves that way. Like I have some clients that just came on board. They own daycare centers, and they're just like, yeah, we just love taking care of kids. It's like, you're a very successful entrepreneur. Like, it's interesting identity, I'd say, becoming, which is a huge part of it, right? It's a huge part of it. So I didn't grow up with any of this. I learned it all from 17 years old in that first book. And then I just started consuming, and I got mentors. I paid a lot of money for mentors early on. Bob Proctor, I figured out how to pay him $25,000. I was probably 20 years old. I couldn't afford that. I mean, I didn't have the money to do that at that point. I figured it out. I put it on a credit card and said, I'll figure it out because I'm going to figure this out. And I made tons of mistakes on the way. I don't even call them mistakes, just learning curve. You just kind of bump into walls, you get bruised a little bit. But
opportunities for growth.
Yeah, they're great. I like that. Opportunities for growth. But mentoring was a huge piece of it. Asking for help. I think a lot of people are embarrassed. They don't want to ask for help. Because in the conversation, I mean, the way you learn about how to do deals, I mean, I buy and sell companies, I buy and sell real estate. I have a lot going on. I have one of the largest marijuana grows about to hit into Nevada. I mean, I have a lot of projects and a lot of businesses. I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. I love it, love it, love it. And I love teaching people just the common sense of it. And that's what I know I've done different is I break that language pattern or the fear of, I don't know about money. Well, you don't have any fear about money. You just don't know about it. So give it the right word. There's nothing scary about money. You're scary because you don't know. So let's call it, I want to lean in and learn. I need to understand. I want knowledge. Right. The more knowledge you get and you know how to apply the knowledge, the faster you win in this.
Right. It's like, I've had those conversations with people where being really clear on what ignorance is. Ignorance doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you don't know till you know. Right. That's it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm gonna borrow some of your fun, like your fruits and vegetables habit. I'm gonna borrow those. Those are really good.
Okay, just give me a little hello on there.
Why would you say go see Inspired Magazine? Let's go.
Yes. So what was your most positive takeaway from 2022?
Oh, wow. Well, it was 10 years since I had another bestseller. So I'd say positive takeaways. I still know how to knock out bestsellers. And I'm not talking Amazon. This was Wall Street Journal, Barnes & Noble, New York Times. Those are very different. I launched an NFT as part of the book launch because you got to admit, this is a 285-page hardback book with McGraw-Hill. And kids, anybody up sub 30 doesn't read a book. And the way you hit a bestseller is you have to sell a hardback. You have to sell the book. You can't, like, ebooks and audios don't count. So we're going to wait to buy. I'm like, no. So I've given, actually, if you go to makeyourkidsmillionaires.com to get it, I give you about $1,500 of bonuses, including the opportunity to get into the NFT business for the first time. So I really blended it with some new fun technologies to have people get inspired and buy the book, because I needed them to buy the book.
That's awesome. That's an awesome
book. So I think the biggest is just knowing I still had it after 10 years of not writing a big book. It was fun. And it was fun to put the team together. We've had an extraordinary year. We've had it was fun to bring it all back and just know we could nail it again. Super success.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Then we just won. It's new. So last week we were just awarded the 2022 personal finance best-selling book of the year by the National Readers Association.
Oh, congratulations. I'm not surprised, but yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So now it's got its own award status, it's the 2022 personal finance book of the year. It's fabulous. So it's been fun. And it's been fun to bring that knowledge and these lists, because it's all been up here, right? For these years of me doing it. And people said, why'd you wait so long to do it? And I said, well, I had to prove it. I had to get a 23-year-old son who was a scholar athlete of Georgia. I mean, amazing academics and work ethic. He led a mental health initiative. I needed to prove I had amazingly successful kids to then brag about them. So did Kyle. So we had to raise them for a little bit. So we had a 10-year gap to grow them all up and say, you know what, this really worked. Really worked. We did it right. And we need to share it. And so it's fun to have it out of my head and on paper and just give it the checklists are so critical. And the checklists are on the website. So again, that website's full of just fun awesome information, activities to do with the kids. As you notice up here, I have a Millionaire Maker game. So if you're our game playing family, start with Monopoly. It's the easy one. Get cash flow. Sharon Lecter has a game called Thrive Time that's really good. And then I have the Millionaire Maker. It's a bigger game. It's the biggest game of money because it's about it's all millionaire structures. But play games. Have this be something fun and create that drive with your children. It's fun.
And remove the anguish or drama around it, right? Because, I mean, and, you know, to be fair, people can go through a surprised stuck moment. Right? That's a really nice way to put it. But that if it isn't cleaned up later, within, you know, the earshot of the kids you're raising, that imprint is already going to be that money is bad, money causes heartache, you know what I mean? And so
money causes divorce.
Right.
You know, I have a program I do every February. It's called Love and Money Have Nothing to Do with Each Other. The love of money,
that title.
Love and money have nothing to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Love and intimacy has a lot to do with each other, but money and love should not be all tangled up between relationships. And it's constantly tangled up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it's been misinformed on what it is to our lives.
Right.
Yep. So then what can we expect from you in 2023?
That's a good question. I'm actually launching a lot more marketing. I'm not to have people make money, they have to learn to market. And there's so much to marketing, given all the technologies. I mean, from building the right databases to just landing pages versus these huge websites to social media. There's algorithms every social media. So the challenge of helping people make money, because everybody is online, is they don't know how to market, so they don't know how to get a lead. And without a lead, you can't get a client because you can't make a sale. Mm-hmm. And so there's a system to marketing that I've been amazingly successful at. And I have an enormous social following. And they go to a database and we're like, we have a jam. We know how to help people make money. So we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to really lean into, let us just do your marketing for you. So we're going to actually do done for you marketing it's called Rapid Marketing Systems. We're going to be we launched it this year. Next year, it gets a lot of attention because without you knowing how to market, I mean, and people don't even know how to get a website or even a social profile up right. I mean, that's where everybody looks. Like the minute you meet someone, you go see where they're online, right? That's your new business card. That's your new introduction. So we're going to do a lot of that work for them, especially the older population who does no interest in learning about that or having it done. It has to get done. That's the problem. That's the challenge for a lot of people. So we're going to attack that challenge, and then totally different. I have a new company. I started this year with a gentleman, Ben Josue. He's was a football player with my son at Georgia Southern. We started a company called Financial Fitness Trainers. So we are approaching the student and pro athlete market, because most athletes, the actual statistic, it's like lottery tickets. I mean, only 2% of lottery winners ever keep their money because, again, they don't know what to do. Only 3% of pro athletes, and we're talking all categories, keep their money. They don't know what to do. So I want to go attack that problem because my son's been an amazing athlete. And I love athletes, and I love football to pieces. And I'm going to really be working with a lot of coaches and coaches' wives. And so I'm just like going after a little bit of a different market, same message, same conversations, same lessons, same everything. But those are big. I like solving problems, and the pro athletes is a big problem. They take their money wrong. They take it as an employee, though, all of it. And they shouldn't. They need to have a branded company with their name, image, and likeness. And, you know, so there's a lot that I'm going to be doing next year. But those are my two biggest initiatives.
Excellent. Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. And I know that you're going to probably have a few more conferences next year, most likely.
Every 3 weeks I do it was 2 days this year. You know, when COVID hit, we did it for 3 days because so many people needed so much help, right? They did their credit cards wrong. They didn't pay their house right. There's so many problems. Like March 10th of 2020 till July, I was on every day for hours helping people just with questions because they just had no idea. And we're such desperate times. We're in the middle of a recession. We got highest interest rates and inflation. We're in that time, but people aren't, for whatever reason. There's lots of, economics behind it and politics behind it. They're not feeling it enough, but it's coming soon, and it's going to hit hard to a lot of families. There was an enormous real estate surge. I benefited heavily from it. You know, houses that should have sold for $300-400 went for $500-600 because everybody's exiting California and New York. They're overbuying. they have to pay those mortgages, and the houses are back down to 300 and 400. So now they're completely upside down. There's a lot of problems that are coming for a lot of people, and they need to reach out and just, I have a website for people to get some free stuff if they want to go get a bunch. Can I give them a site to go get a whole bunch of free stuff?
Yeah, what I was going to say was like, what's the best way for people to find and follow you? Because I know that you spoke to everybody, at least in one corner of their life today, one way or another. So please tell us.
So 2 different ways. You want to ask me any question anytime, 24/7. I have a website that's called Ask Loral, AskLoral, askloral.com. You can put in your information, ask a question, make a request, and I have a whole team on that. And then if you go to loral.club, LORAL.club, you can get the 2 tickets to my marketplace. Every 3 weeks, we do a marketplace to help you learn to make money. Every 2 weeks, I'm doing an Ask Loral. I come live and answer more questions. So we're constantly available. And I have a whole crew here in Carson City, Nevada. So we just live off the lake. I used to live at Lake Tahoe. Now we moved down, but we're here and helping. So call us, let us help you.
Amazing to offer all that support. I mean, it's needed. And people, most likely they'll sit back with their thoughts, and then they'll want to reach out kind of privately because, working through their stuff around those subjects. So that's a really great way to speak to the masses and then to drop in and be with people one-on-one. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, this was fantastic on my end. Is there anything else you want to share that maybe I didn't ask or cover?
Just take action. Don't have another year go by without the knowledge. And so instead of standing back, I was in The Secret, way back in the day. And, people think they have a bad mindset with money. No, you have a lack of knowledge with money. So just lean in and learn. That's always my theme. Lean in, say, I'm going to learn, start reading the books, go to my YouTube channel. It's Loral Langemeier, the Millionaire Maker. Go get my tickets to free on Loral.club. And just lean in and start asking questions. And next year will be a very different year for you. I promise you.
Thank you, Loral. This was so great. The honor's all mine to have you here with me today. And so here's to onward and upward for the next year. Thank you.
And highly inspired. I love your magazine. So thank you for having me in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.